Yo, what is good, Mets Nation? Welcome back to Mets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to give you guys my full series recap between the Mets and the Nationals to open up the 2022 season. The New York Mets come away with 3 out of the 4 victories, and today was definitely a disappointing loss. So we're going to go over all 4 games, and yes, I know today sucked, but do not be too upset because the New York Mets did a lot of great things in the opening series against the Washington Nationals that should give us a lot of optimism heading into the rest of the season. Man, does it feel good that Mets baseball is back, and it feels good for me to be making Mets content. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that like button if you guys are enjoying, because I'm going to be making consistent Mets content all throughout the rest of the season, and I'm super excited to give you guys the best Mets content that I possibly can for you guys. And comment down below your thoughts of what you saw from the New York Mets, some players that really stood out to you the most, your impressions of Buck of being the manager for the Mets. Obviously, this is a lot to get into these 4 games in this series. So with that being said, let's jump right into the first game. So in game number 1, we had Tyler McGill filling in for Jacob deGrom. Very upsetting that Jake had to go down with that injury. He's not going to be playing for the Mets for the next couple of months, but sub in Tyler McGill, who's one of my favorite players last year for us, getting a start. 5 innings, no runs. You cannot ask for a better start for Tyler McGill. He was the star of opening night. You cannot ask for a player that young to fill in for the GOAT in Jacob deGrom and go out there and throw 5 innings, no runs, 6 strikeouts, only giving up 3 hits, and the New York Mets won this game 5-1. And they versed Corbin, and the offense absolutely looked like everything that the Mets lacked last year in terms of hitting with runners in scoring position. Starling Marte was 1 for 5 with an RBI, Lindor with an RBI, Canha with an RBI, McNeil and McCann both have RBIs, and McCann's RBI came from being hit by a pitch. We're going to get into that in this video, of course. But what really stood out to me the most, offensively speaking, from this game was timely hitting. All the free agents that we brought in, Starling Marte, man on second base, he brings him in. Mark Canha has been probably the star of the offense so far to start off the year. He is red hot. He's probably one of the most players that I'm impressed with the most in terms of the new free agent acquisitions. But in this first game, in terms of the offense, it was really refreshing to see the Mets come away with timely hitting. When you needed to get a run the most, they went out there with a man on second and third, or a man on second, men in scoring position. They get the ball in play, get a base hit, and bring him in. So the Mets won this game 5-1 to start off the season strong. Love to see everything with that. So, and as you guys know, in this game, Pete Alonso got drilled in the face, McCann got drilled twice, and that really got, the blood boiling for the New York Mets, and that transitions into game number 2. This was on Apple TV Plus, which absolutely sucked. I miss Gary Keith-Ron so bad, but the Mets won this game 7-3 with Max Scherzer's debut, pitching in Nationals Park, which was crazy for him. He went out there and pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and 6 strikeouts, but the Mets still came away with the victory. It's crazy that Max Scherzer gave up 3 runs in his debut, but it's okay because he still went 6 innings. He still gave the Mets a long start for him in his first debut game for the New York Mets, and I'm not complaining. I love what Mad Max is going to bring to the table for the rest of the season. Jacob deGrom goes down. It's okay. We still have that superstar ace in the rotation with Max Scherzer. Really great stuff from him. And when it comes to the bullpen as well, I forgot to mention the bullpen in game number 1. Absolutely sensational. Trevor May went out there, and in game number 1, Juan Soto hit that solo shot, but outside of that, it was lockdown. May was great. Ottavino, Lugo, Diaz, all shutout innings, and then transitioning into game number 2, Drew Smith, Lugo again, Reed Foley went out there in the 9th inning after the rain delay, all scoreless. So it's really great to see what the bullpen has been doing so far outside of the last game, which was today, but we'll get into that, of course. But the offense was awesome again. Starling Marte, 3 RBIs in this one. Cano with 2 RBIs. McNeil 3 for 4 with a solo shot, a 2 RBI game, and then Francisco Lindor getting hit by a pitch in the face. Shout out to Francisco Lindor, man, for getting hit and being able to play the next game. Luckily, he's okay. Hit him in the C-flap. That was a really crazy blow to him. And shout out to every single player on the Mets, including Buck and the entire coaching staff, for defending Francisco Lindor, getting up there, getting in the Nationals' face. Like, yo, what are you doing? This is the 4th player you hit, 2nd player in the face. I mean, you can include McCann because his hit was on the shoulder. So you love to see the camaraderie from this Mets team. You can tell that they really want to fight for each other. They have that gritty mentality. And I feel like that really put this team together. They really brought them together in terms of unifying that we got each other's back. We're not going to back down. We're going to be, in their faces if you go for our faces. I mean, it was just ridiculous what happened with the Washington Nationals that game by hitting Francisco Lindor. But then Yorme replaced him, and it was great to see the Mets just go out there and get timely hitting again, scoring 7 runs to help support their superstar starting pitcher, Max Scherzer. Still feels weird that he's a Met. Really does feel weird that he's a Met. But getting into game number 3 for the New York Mets, they shut out the Washington Nationals 5-0 last night. And the star of this one was Chris Bassitt in his first game with the New York Mets. Absolutely sensational. What he did last night was really mind-blowing because he's a different, unique style of pitching that I'm not really used to in terms of being on the Mets, right? His off-speed stuff is disgusting. He has a slow slider. He has a fast slider. His changeup. I mean, he adds a new pitch every single season, and his press conference after the game last night made me fall in love with him even more, saying that, you know, I don't care who you are. I'm coming after you. I don't care if you're Juan Soto. You're one of the best hitters in the world. I'm going to go after you. That's his mentality. He's faced Ohtani. He's faced Trout in the American League. He is not afraid to go after these superstars, and he also loved the grittiness of this Mets team. Seeing Pete Alonso get drilled in the mouth playing the next game. Seeing Francisco Lindor getting drilled in the mouth playing the next game. Chris Bassitt just looks like a guy that has every single style and mentality you want for this New York Mets clubhouse. He went out there and pitched 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits, no runs, and 8 strikeouts. He was absolutely disgusting. You cannot ask more from our third starter in the rotation from Chris Bassitt. He was definitely probably the star of this entire series in my eyes because he really blew me away with this off-speed stuff. It was absolutely disgusting. I was watching this like, wow, because he's not a power pitcher, as you know. He's someone that keeps his the hitters off balance, trying to guess what's coming, and he reads their swings and just manipulates them, and it was really fun to watch last night what Chris Bassitt did. And getting into the bullpen, Drew Smith has been sensational so far. Another scoreless inning for him. Rodriguez in his debut pitched 1.1 innings, 2 strikeouts, and no earned runs. Ottavino went out there to finish it out with 0.2 innings and no earned runs. And when it comes to the offense in this game, it was all about Big Meat Pete grand slam. Man, that was awesome. I called that. I was watching the game with my dad, and when Pete came up there with the bases loaded, I said, Dad, Pete's about to get his first career grand slam. And that's exactly what happened. Great to see Pete Alonso go out there and getting that grand slam because it's been way too long. He has over 100 career home runs and not a grand slam yet. That was way overdue. So shout out to Pete Alonso for doing his thing. Nimmo was 2 for 4 in this one with the run scored. Francisco Lindor was 1 for 3. Janikowski with his Mets debut got his first start in this one. He was 2 for 3. He had a really pretty good game. His 2 hits were awesome. He had a really bad base running blow. I think he tried to tag up from second to third, which was kind of head scratching. But overall, Janikowski really impressed me, and I loved what I saw from the Mets in these first 3 games. The offense was there, the pitching was sensational, and even getting into today's game, the pitching was unbelievable from Cookie Carrasco. We're going to get into that, but overall, the first 3 games, the Mets getting 3 straight wins to start off the season. You love to see it. Obviously, the Washington Nationals are not the best team, but you got to be able to beat up the division rivals. So now getting into today's game, the New York Mets unfortunately lost this one 4-2. We were winning the entire game, and we wasted a beautiful, beautiful outing from Carlos Carrasco. We all know that he is coming off a terrible season last year. He cannot get out of the first inning for the life of him. He got out of the first inning this one with only 1 run scored, giving up 1 run, and that was it. He went out there and pitched 5.2 innings, only giving up 1 run, had 5 strikeouts, only giving up 2 hits. He retired like 15 straight batters after the first inning, I believe, and his ERA is a 1.59 after his first start. It's unfortunate that he was unable to get the victory, but it wasn't on him. I think that we can blame today's loss on 2 people, Buck and Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso, first of all, I know that he wants to be a first baseman and he does not want to be a DH, but if you have the aspirations to be a Gold Glove first baseman, and we have a guy in Dom Smith who's obviously a better fielder at first base, you can't make these type of plays, especially back-to-back plays. Late in that 8th inning, Pete Alonso easily could have had a play at the plate, and D. Gordon was going home on a suicide squeeze, and he just underthrows the ball, and there was a tie game. You got to pick it up and throw overhand and get him out. It wasn't the easiest play, but that's a play that you expect Pete Alonso to make, and you're like, okay, tie game, not the end of the world. But then the second play was really when you're like, oh my gosh, Pete, what is wrong? It was a ground ball to him, could have been a routine double play, and he just lollipops it to Francisco Lindor, and everyone's safe. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here comes Juan Soto, and then luckily for Pete Alonso, he makes up for it, and it was a dribbler to Pete, and he gets the force out at home. But then we all know what happened. Cruz gets the base hit and gives the Nationals a 4-2 lead in that 8th inning, which ends up the Nationals getting the victory. So Pete Alonso definitely needs to work on his defense. I feel like the defense is the reason why we lost this game. And also you can talk about Buck and his bullpen management. Why was Trevor Williams out there? Why did they bring Shreve out there again? Why did they not pinch hit J.D. Davis at that time where Cano was up against the lefty? There's a lot of things that you can nitpick about Buck in this game. The first time you can really nitpick Buck so far in the his tenure with the Mets manager, in my opinion. But this loss is more on the defense, in my opinion, than Buck, because I feel like if Pete made those plays, then we wouldn't even be talking about Buck's little, management plays that we are nitpicking right now. And also, shout out to Francisco Lindor getting his first home run of the season. You love to see that from Francisco Lindor. But yeah, guys, that's really my thoughts of the series. I am not upset with today's loss just because we won the series 3-1. The New York Mets are going into the Philadelphia Phillies now with the 3-1 record. Let me know your thoughts down below about the video and your thoughts about the New York Mets first series of the season. I'm really excited to make more content here on Mets Media. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like the video, and don't forget to comment down below your thoughts, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are indeed new. My biggest takeaways from this series so far, really players that are stood out to me the most personally. Mark Canha has been absolutely awesome. Escobar has been awesome. Even Marte, the 3 free agent positional players that we brought in are really impressive. Throw in Bassitt as a superstar so far in this series, going out there and looking like an absolute dominant pitcher, all-star like he was last year. Scherzer looked good. Marte, like I mentioned. Even Cano looks really good at 39 years old. He didn't have a good day today, but in the first couple games, he's getting on base. He's finding the hole. Jeff McNeil looks like his old self. He has 7 hits already. There's a lot of good things to like. Francisco Lindor is looking like he's not starting off the season terribly like he did last year in April. Pete Alonso already getting a grand slam. There's a lot of things to love in this first series for the New York Mets, and another big shout out to the bullpen. I'm not really gonna put this on Trevor Williams this game, but outside of today, the bullpen was absolutely lights out. So let me know your thoughts of who really stood out to you the most in this series, what you're looking forward to the most against the Phillies. Stay tuned for more Mets content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's go Mets. Peace.